Now, I do honestly believe that the quality of leadership, more than any other factor, determines the success or failure of an organisation. And it's really important that we appreciate that leadership is not about position or hierarchy, but it's far more about attitude and definite characteristics and behaviours, such as vision, self-belief, team building, empathy, humility, all those things. And really, I think it's important within our organisation to try and encourage leadership at all levels, And the principle remains, leadership first and management second. And to be honest with you, when I was starting to prepare for this presentation, and I promise you I did prepare this time, I tried to find out what is leadership? And because unfortunately Kevin asked me that question, it's really think about it. But here's what I think leadership is anyway. I think leadership starts with a vision for the self, but ultimately it ends with a vision for community and for country, which obviously incorporates one's business. And no matter what your circumstances in life are, no matter what the distractions or temptations, you should seek the best in yourself. Be brave and curious about what you can do in your life. Build on the strengths and confront your weaknesses. And don't be afraid of pressures or challenges. But have the courage to walk away, and particularly in the current environment, have the courage to walk away from things that demean and damage the self and others. And remember, it was John F. Kennedy who said, some people see things that are and ask why. Other people see things as they should be and ask why. Obviously, we're all familiar with Martin Luther King's comments, I have a dream. But you know, we look around the people in this room this morning, as John F. Kennedy said, for those to whom much is given, much is required. And really what I'm trying to say here is, yes, people need dreams, leaders need vision, but the challenge and the reality is bringing those two together. Certainly within FPM, we've come to the conclusion that the three most important factors in our business is shared responsibility, internal communications, and continuous improvement. And there's no doubt about it, business is all about people, and certainly we talk about a thing called Team FPM, working together, everybody achieves more. And it's very simple, because that old Japanese proverb, none of us are as smart as all of us. And I know one or two people have heard me say this before, but it continues to amaze me, and many people don't appreciate this. Staff are either your assassins or your ambassadors. I can never understand people who don't understand. If your staff are out tonight calling you all the bastards in the world, you have a problem. I personally have never bought anything in the basis of a brochure. And don't do a brochure. Your staff aren't positive, you're wasting your time. Your staff haven't bought it. As a student many years ago, as a training accountant, I remember going for a cup of coffee one evening, and I have to say, my friend, what he said about his boss was unbelievable. And I remember saying to myself, how can that guy next Tuesday go out and sell his business? How can he go out and get business? So internal communications, in my opinion, is by far more important than external. And there is no doubt about it, there is a difference between leadership and power. And authentic leadership does come from within, but is recognized by others. You know, sometimes business leaders need to lift themselves out of the mundane tasks and work, think of this now, work on the business rather than get your head out of it. Take yourself away for a walk, start looking back, work on the business rather than. And the success of any leader obviously is determined by the outputs of his team rather than his personal inputs. And in the corporate setting, I believe leadership is centered on the ability to deliver change, because only adaptive organizations will endure in today's rapidly changing environment. And we must all be prepared to change. There are no shortcuts. With the will, you know, and a bit of luck, you can do almost everything. George Bernard Shaw said, unfortunately, it's taken me 53 years to now agree with this, by the way. The only golden rule is, there is no rule. I actually believe that. I believe we can have a framework with no hardcore rules. And the reason being, we need to remain flexible to adapt to changing circumstances. Now, in terms of leadership, I think a good leader must also be able to provide strong leadership. I don't know about the rest of you. I hate the long grip. I hate the maybe. I'm looking for yes or no answers, albeit they're wrong. We learn from our mistakes. And I think the other most important thing is delegation. I think if we can't delegate and empower our team, forget about it. You don't do anything to sell it. If you're not over a bus, then you're business. The amount of solicitors and accountants, I see quite a few here, and I have to admit to, I can't understand the amount of us currently working at 65, 66, 67, 68. But can I tell you the secret? They were too greedy. They didn't put a team in place, they didn't delegate, they didn't plan succession. And the amount of people that are currently in the service business at 67, 65, 68 is unbelievable. And the reason being, if you knock them over, they don't have a business, because they didn't create a sustainable model. They didn't empower people and bring people through. As Martin Lawton said, if you cannot delegate, you are a nuisance. Think about that. Very simple. If you cannot delegate, you are a nuisance. I honestly believe that a person with a prerequisite skills and a wrong attitude has only limited potential, but the other way around, a person with prerequisite skills can be trained. And therefore what I'm really saying is that it's your attitude and not your skills that will ultimately determine your altitude.